Hello, so it is week 4, and we are rounding out our essay on visual analysis, right? Last week you were asked to write 3 body paragraphs. Those body paragraphs went with your assignment outline. If you go to the course content page, again, what you always want to do is to pull up your assignment, make sure that you understand that assignment so that you'll have a good idea of what you're being asked to do in this paper. Go to the week 2 module, go click on Essay 1 requirements, open up that document, take a look at it. If you have not read that document in its entirety, I would suggest that you do so, simply because that document is going to give you details as to what you are required to do, and it also gives you an outline for your essay. So if you did not read through the Essay 1 requirements document really well, I would suggest that you do that so that you can get a pretty good idea of what's required in that document. The very first thing that you were asked to do with that essay is to write your introductory sentence, which included your thesis. You were asked to write a descriptive paragraph. That descriptive paragraph is simply going to be on only the information that you see in the visual. So when you get to the descriptive paragraph, please do not analyze in that paragraph. I explained this in the last video. But what you want to do in your descriptive paragraph is simply to describe the photo. The audience paragraph then is also asking you to consider what or who the major audience would be for the image that you selected, right? Right, so again, I was asking you to go through and take a look at the requirements for Essay 1. You should see the word count here. If you're not sure about that, please take a look at this again. This is a minimum word count, not maximum, minimum. You need to have a minimum of 1,250 words for this essay in order for it to be graded. Okay? Rough draft is due in stages. We are doing those stages now. Your actual rough draft is going to be due here pretty soon, September 22nd, I believe. We'll take a look at that in just a second. And then your actual paper is going to be due October 1st, and you will be submitting that to Blackboard. Right? If you did not look at this outline, I would suggest you do so, because this outline gives you the template for how many paragraphs your essay will have and the actual order of those paragraphs. Your first paragraph should be an intro. Second paragraph is going to be a descriptive paragraph describing the visual. Third paragraph is on audience. And then that's going to bring us to what we are discussing today, which is the actual body paragraphs for your essay. Those 3 body paragraphs should be on logos, pathos, and ethos. After you've completed your paragraphs on logos, pathos, and ethos, then you will write a conclusion, and that will round out the structure for your first Essay 1, right? This document here for the requirements is located in module week 2. Please go through and take a look at it if you have not. Right? So that is going to bring us to what we are working on today. You can also find this document that we're going to focus on in your week 4 content folder. As you go through this lecture, pull up this document at the same time, because it's going to give you a good example of the information that you need to include in your essay, right? Before we get started on the body, you should note that your essay must be MLA formatted, right? So your essay is going to have a title. It should have a heading. It should have double spacing. It should be Times New Roman, 12-point font. The entire page should be double spaced, right? In order to get to that font, what I would suggest you do is to go to Word and open up an MLA style document. Open up that document, and then you're going to do what I essentially showed you to do on the last class, which was to go through and put the heading and the spacing and the title for your essay. So you will open up a blank document like this, and then you're just going to go in and replace that document with your information. Get rid of all of this information here, and then you are going to copy and paste your introduction, your descriptive paragraph, your audience paragraph will be put into this document. So you'll just go through, and it may take a while, but you're going to erase everything you see there, right? And then you're going to be left with just this part up here. And of course, you will take their name, that particular part out, put your name, and you're going to go ahead and format your document the way that I discussed with you during the first week of class, right? Once you have that document formatted and you have your header done, remember to do your header on page 1 and page 2. And you've put the professor's name, you put your class period. What you're going to do then is you are going to copy and paste your introduction, your descriptive paragraph, and your audience paragraph into this document so that you can start to prepare your rough draft that you have to submit. Okay? Once you've input your 3 paragraphs that you previously wrote last week, you're going to then start to focus on the body of your paper. Now, the body of your paper is explained in this document. The body portion of your paper is going to be the largest portion, and it is where the bulk of your grade is going to come from. Typically, for my course, the visual analysis essay, you will have 3 paragraphs. However, you may decide that your photo only deals with 2 of the rhetorical appeals. If you decide that, then your body will have only 2 paragraphs. Now, I must caution you that the only way to get the highest mark on the essay for the body portion, you can get up to 4 points on the rubric. The only way to get those 4 points is to make sure that you have a body paragraph on all 3 appeals. So you may want to take that into consideration when you are determining how long or how many appeals your essay will discuss. Okay? Essentially, though, you should be discussing logos, pathos, and ethos because all of those photos have logos, pathos, and ethos represented in them. Okay? Now, last week you were asked to write a thesis, you were asked to share your thesis, you were asked to give feedback to your classmates on your thesis, and then you were told to go back and take a look at your thesis, look at the evidence or the suggestions that were given, and sort of revise your thesis statement, right? Picking up from the same examples that we used in the last video, we're continuing to write the body over the ad, "The Man Your Man Could Smell Like." If you need to pause this video at this time and go back and watch that infomercial on YouTube, you can go ahead and watch it. Pull it up again just so that you understand what's being discussed in this body paragraph section, okay? Now that you've gone back and refreshed your memory on that video and watched it again, I'm going to tell you to go back to the introductory paragraph that we talked about for that ad. And I just copied and pasted the same thesis that we discussed it last week here. The body of your paper has one job, and that job is essentially to prove your thesis statement. Right? So you need to have your thesis statement in mind when you start to write your body paragraph. This thesis statement says that this advertisement uses ethos and pathos developed primarily through dialogue, symbols, and visually pleasing aesthetics to sell the product and offer an interpretation of the qualities of an ideal man. Right? So this is what the body of my paper has to address. How does ethos help sell this product and offer an interpretation of the qualities of an ideal man? How does pathos sell a product and offer the interpretation of the qualities of an ideal man? And which of these rhetorical elements does each of these appeals use in order to answer that question? Your first body paragraph, then, if you follow the format of your thesis statement, should be on ethos, because that is the first appeal that was mentioned, right? And then you need to decide, okay, so is the ethos developed through all three of these, or am I simply going to discuss ethos and symbols and ethos and dialogue? That's going to be up to you as the writer, right? For this student chose to take ethos and look at how the dialogue and the symbols reinforce the use of ethos. And then this student makes a claim about how that use of ethos through dialogue and symbols sells the product and offers this interpretation, right? So when you begin your first body paragraph, a body paragraph should only cover one idea at a time, okay? So for ethos, I'm not going to write one whole paragraph over ethos and pathos. I'm going to have my first paragraph focus solely on ethos, and I'm going to make one claim about ethos, and then I'm going to write a paragraph that supports that claim. Now, this claim that I make should support my thesis statement, because again, this is the job of my essay, to prove this one sentence that I put as my thesis statement. In order to do that, I sort of break down the structure of a body paragraph and what it should look like. The first thing your body paragraph is going to need to do is to make a claim about the strategy used, the devices, and then make a claim that supports the thesis. Okay? This student writes, the ad uses ethos, and then it's going to explain how, in the form of a former NFL athlete, to strengthen the company's argument to buy their product and play on the ideal of masculinity, right? Go back to my thesis statement. Does this first sentence support the idea that I have, or the argument that I'm making in this thesis? First of all, I said ethos, I said sell a product. Yes, this claim here says the ethos in the form of this NFL athlete strengthens the company's argument to buy their product. Okay, that's a claim. And it plays on the idea of masculinity. All right, that goes to the second part of my thesis, the interpretation of the qualities of an ideal man. Right? So you'll notice the topic sentence here supports the thesis, but it doesn't necessarily repeat the thesis. It makes a claim about the thesis, right? Once you've made that claim in support of your thesis statement, the next part of your paragraph is going to have to prove that claim. In order to prove that claim, you need evidence, right? Since you are viewing a photo, then you need to get your evidence from the photo, right? That evidence is in the form of a former NFL athlete. All right. Right? So this guy serves as a symbol. So this student is going to then provide the evidence and explain how this guy serving as a symbol strengthens the argument to buy the product and plays on the ideal of masculinity. Right? The student says, athletes tend to be strong, fierce, aggressive, and successful. And Isaiah Mustafa is a retired professional athlete who still has that stereotypical physique and demeanor. Okay, so this second sentence gives me the evidence. All right, so the ad uses ethos in the form of an NFL athlete. Show me the evidence. Okay, this guy, Isaiah Mustafa, is a retired professional athlete who's still in shape, and he gives the aura of what it means to be an athlete. Okay. After you've introduced your evidence, the next part of your body paragraph should then explain how the evidence connects or proves the claim that you made in the topic sentence. Right? This student starts with, this immediately connects the reputation of the actor to the reputation of the product. Remember, ethos is about reputation. So that is what you should be discussing when you are explaining. So how does the reputation of this athlete make the audience want to buy this product? And how does it promote a specific idea about masculinity? Right? So it says that the reputation of the actor is linked to the reputation of the product, seemingly suggesting that the characteristic the actor embodies is the result of his use of the body wash. The idea is reinforced when the actor explicitly states that if the viewer's man stopped using Lady Scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. This message sends the message that the viewer's man may not be an athlete, but they could at least smell like one by using this product. Right? Okay. So that is the structure and the building block for any paragraph that you're going to be writing in your literature courses. You make a claim in your body paragraph that supports the thesis. You provide evidence that supports that claim, and then you explain how the evidence connects to that particular claim. Okay? Now, usually in a body paragraph, when you're writing an essay of this length, you're going to want to include more than one piece of evidence. So we had Isaiah Mustafa as our first piece of evidence that supported this claim, which supported our thesis. But you always want to add another piece of evidence here, right? And so to do that, you're going to do it in the same paragraph because you're still talking about ethos and how ethos plays on the idea of masculinity and sells this product. Ethos is also developed through the messages or the dialogue, right? So it says, furthermore, right? This is a nice way to transition when you're about to add an additional piece of evidence. You can also use transitions words like also or moreover or in addition to, right? So this one just uses furthermore. The subliminal messaging regarding the accepted view of masculinity are also on display, right? The actions and the speech of the actor exudes strength and confidence, which is evidenced by his tone and straightforward manner in which he directs the female audience. He stares directly into the camera with an upright posture and in a smooth yet direct tone instructs women to look at your man, now back at me, now back at your man, now back at me. The commanding voice and tone plays on the perceived notion of what it means to be a man, strong, assertive, and confident. Through the use of Mustafa as an ethical appeal, the advertisement seeks to link the Old Spice brand with the masculinity and reputation of this professional former football player to make an alluring appeal that women should purchase this product for men and men should use this product to make themselves more physically appealing to women. Okay. The very last sentence of your paragraph is usually going to do two things. One of two things. It could do one or the other. The last sentence of your paragraph will always either go back to your topic sentence and it will restate your topic sentence using different words, right? Here's the topic sentence, the claim. Or if it doesn't restate the topic sentence, it will transition to the next body paragraph, right? It will say something like, while this ad uses ethos to strengthen this idea of masculinity, it also uses pathos to evoke emotions of whatever, right? So you're just going to make another claim. This sentence, however, doesn't choose to transition to the next paragraph. This sentence just goes back to the original claim made in the topic sentence, and it reinforces or restates that claim. Okay, so that is how you write an effective body paragraph. You start with a claim. You provide evidence of that claim that supports that claim. You then explain how the evidence supports that claim. You provide more evidence that supports that claim, and then you explain that evidence as well. And then your final sentence that tells me you're about to conclude this paragraph is either going to do one of two things. It will restate your claim, or it will transition to your next body paragraph and your next appeal. Okay. To take a look at how this paragraph looks when it's all put together, it is written out here. The paragraph has about 318 words. You can read it in its entirety to see how it looks and how it is put together. Okay. This is essentially the way that you write a body paragraph. You are going to do the same thing on your paragraph on ethos, pathos, and logos.